Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank, as always, my beautiful co-host. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Let's get straight into it.
Oh yeah.
I have something to talk about that I have not informed you about
Yeah.
as of yet.
Mhm.
And it's going to lead right into our next point of conversation. So, last week Thursday evening, we shipped off the final photos
Yeah.
for our job.
Is this? I'm gonna let you tell the story. I'm nervous.
I've been waiting to tell you this. Before I continue,
Yeah.
it's all fine.
Okay.
All is good.
Okay.
So shipped them off Thursday night. All was well. Was psyched. I left Friday morning for my trip to the coast.
Yeah.
And I was gone for 3 days. Thankfully, I brought all my stuff with me, which means I have my laptop. But Friday afternoon, I am walking back from the beach to the apartment that we are staying in.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call. And I missed the phone call because my phone was in my bag. And so I got a message, and the message was something along the lines of, "Hey mate, hope you're going all right, blah blah blah. I've just gotten a message from one of our distributors, and I'm gonna not say specifics.
Yeah.
But basically, the job was that a part of the job was that we had to switch the colors, and the colors, he was like, it's still the original color. So, can you just check and make sure that you've uploaded the right ones into that Google Drive?
Yeah.
So I went, yeah, sure. So I got back to the apartment, broke out the laptop and checked, and sure enough, I had uploaded the correct ones. So it was
blue
good.
ones?
Yes. It was all sweet.
Yeah.
So I called him back and went, hey mate, all is well.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently the sample that I had sent of the same color, which he approved, and then when we did that to all of them,
Yeah.
it was wrong. So it was
What?
the color was still too light. And so
Oh, it needed to be darker.
yeah, so I basically was on the phone with him, and he was like, yeah, we can't actually use these because they're still too similar in color to the original.
Right.
So I went, okay. I'm at the beach, so
Yeah.
and so I was like, all right, you know what? I'll fix it and I'll get it back to you ASAP. And so I broke out the laptop. Luckily, had it all in Google Drive, so I downloaded the Drive folder, did the edit, got it all done, shipped it off.
Yeah.
Sick. All done.
Yeah.
Got an email back, was like, cheers for your quick turnaround. I had it done in 30 minutes.
Damn.
All sweet. Crushed it.
And so you just made it the color darker.
Yeah, I just darkened it.
Yeah. Okay.
That all got approved, all was well. Monday morning, I get an email from this other company that is getting these color shifted images.
Yeah.
I get an email from them. Hi, Frank. Please see attached the email from our web designer.
Great.
Could you please correct this? And I go,
What's that
sure.
mean?
What? Sure. So I scroll down to the web designer's email. The web designer has written person's name of the company because it's addressed to them. Person's name. All of these images need to be downsized to less than 1 megabyte to be uploaded to the site. Otherwise, it'll be too slow.
And they can't do that?
Well, that's what I thought. And so I was sitting there and I was like, it'll take me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Do I say no
Mm.
and be like, good luck?
Yeah.
Or do I just do it and at least know that they look good and reflects the quality of work that I can do?
Yeah.
So I went, all right, fine, I'll downsize them all. So
Don't you hate that when it's but it could lead to this and it'll make us look good. Fine, I'll do it.
yeah, I was like, fine, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
So downloaded them all again, put them all into Lightroom again, exported them all under 1 megabyte, uploaded them, shipped them off. Haven't heard anything since, so it should be sweet.
Okay.
So,
Oh my goodness.
couple things I've learnt from this experience.
Yeah.
Three main points.
Yeah.
For us and for the greater community.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, ask a lot of questions at the start.
Yes.
And really figure out what they need, and if something is, if you assume something, make sure you double check what that assumption is and whether that assumption is correct. Because we made several assumptions. One being that it was way less products than it actually was, and the other being that the color shift wouldn't be as big a job as it was, because we didn't really understand what they wanted. So that's number one. Ask way more questions. Number two. Write everything down at the start in a contract that they sign.
Yes.
So that we can say no.
Yes.
Because currently, that didn't happen. And so we didn't have any grounds to say no, because technically
the job wasn't over yet.
Yes, exactly. And number three, anything that needs heavy editing, we need to charge more for.
Yes.
Because I spent so freaking long on this job. It's not worth it anymore.
We got under... Yes.
Yeah.
We undercharged them.
So, and with that, on something that we can do is we send out a physical quote, so like an invoice, but not payable, not a payable invoice, just a quote. Send out a quote, and then at the bottom, anything extra will be billed separately in separate invoices or in separate quotes, rather than just having it happen.
Yeah.
Because that way we can actually say no to stuff, or we can take more stuff on, but be like, hey, that's going to cost another X amount of money or whatever. So, them's the big takeaways that I've had from the past couple of weeks. And I think it's a lot of important stuff to have learnt. And call it on-the-job training.
Yeah. Jeez.
So yeah, glad that's all.
Glad it's
all
over.
sorted. Hopefully.
You watch, you get an email in 2 weeks being like, didn't work. You do it again.
Yeah. Can I please have these in purple?
Sure, for another X amount of money.
But yeah. So takeaways. I think we're done, but that's it's been interesting to say the least.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I thought I'd tell you all that on the show.
Thanks.
And I had it all covered, so it was all good. And it only took me like an extra 30, 45 all up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. It was more so I just like, take a deep breath and just do it.
Let me not yell. I'm not gonna yell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the rest of my weekend away.
That's good.
It was lovely. I learnt that there's new drone laws on the Sunshine Coast. There's new council laws where you have to get a permit if you're going to fly a drone from the council, which applies all across the Sunshine Coast council area other than national parks. So national parks are exempt from that rule, which I appreciate. Because I was going to fly the drone from the apartment that we were staying in out over the water, because I thought it'd be really cool. And my mum was like, "Can you Google that's legal?" And I was like, "Yeah, the only drone laws in Australia are that you can't fly over people."
Yeah.
And
within like
30 meters.
30.
And that's kind of it for the most part. But yeah, so I Googled it and that showed up. So, and that changed on the 21st of April, so not even a month. It's not a month and a bit.
Super fresh.
Yeah, super fresh law. So apparently the Sunshine Coast Council was getting really sick of people with drones just buzzing around and pissing people off.
Right.
So that sucks.
How do you know like the process of getting a permit?
I could not find
how to get a permit.
I genuinely Googled and did my research and tried to find it. I could not find it anywhere The advantage
Could be
is that it only applies to drones over 500 grams. So Mavic Mini
It's
can
fine.
go up. Mavic Mini's fine.
Ah.
My Air 2S can't because that's 590 grams.
Sad.
Um,
But are you ever gonna fly the Mavic Mini again?
I mean, for stuff like that, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Like if it's illegal for me to fly the other drone, then yeah, for sure. No, like literally not a question.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it for the drone stuff. How's your drone stuff going?
Good. I haven't flown it. I haven't had a lot of chances to fly it recently. Sadly, but yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for my bag.
Yeah,
I'm so
has it
excited
shipped?
for my bag. I don't think so. I think it's meant to ship today or tomorrow. So,
Yeah, fair.
hopefully, so it should come next week.
Speaking of bags,
Mm.
so I took that. I'm pointing like they can see it. I took the Peter McKinnon 35 liter camera bag with me because it's a travel bag. I packed my entire weekend into that bag
Yep.
with nothing else.
Yeah.
Technically, I had a tote bag with my climbing gear and stuff as well, but all my standard stuff was in there, and it went great.
Yeah.
I managed to fit. So I was wearing jeans, t-shirt, and a jumper. I managed to fit another pair of pants, 3 t-shirts, 3 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of socks, and my puffer jacket, plus all my toiletries,
Wow.
plus all my camera gear
Damn. That's pretty impressive.
in the one bag.
So that's perfect for a weekend away.
It is perfect for a weekend away.
Yeah.
It's literally like anything you could ask for. And even if you do like a longer trip, as long as you have access to, or if you're okay with going through the same clothes, which I absolutely am,
Yeah.
or if you have access to a laundry machine as well. So super, super happy with it.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I was like, all right, that went really well. Nomadic has packing cubes. Like compression packing cubes that you can pack your stuff in, and then you close an extra zip around the outside, and it all goes.
Wow.
It's really, really cool. So I went onto the Nomadic website and I was trying to figure it out. And I was like, looking at the sizes, and I was like, do I get a large or a medium or a small? Anyway, I ended up deciding on getting 2 mediums because I was like, they'll fit like that. I'll still have a little bit of extra space on the left side, and then I can still use all the pockets for toiletries and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, sick. I'll order them. They're $40 each.
Right.
So not cheap, but not crazy. Anyway, add them to my cart, head over to the cart, and put in my address, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to take a guess at how much shipping was?
It's not free?
No, evidently not. Because it was for the bag from
yeah.
the same site.
I suppose over, $100 or something will be free.
It was $101
for shipping.
for shipping.
What?
These things weigh nothing. You could put them in a letter and you could send it.
It was $100.
$101.
That's insane.
That's mental.
So you didn't buy them?
No.
No.
That's more than what I was buying. It was $80 worth of stuff with $101 of shipping. Screw that.
That's no.
Anyway, so I sent them an email. Did the chat in customer support.
Yeah.
I go to the chat and they go, put in your thing and put in your question, blah, 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 expecting it to send me through to the chat. It goes, we'll email you. I was like, then just give me an email to send an email to.
Yeah. That's stupid.
Anyway, they got back to me like a day later. I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to read the email.
Oh no.
Support. Is it gonna be easy? Yeah, okay. So this is what I wrote. I said, I'm currently trying to order 2 of the medium packing cubes, but shipping is coming out to over $100. That's more than the order itself! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I ordered the Peter McKinnon 35 liter a few weeks ago, which is fantastic, and I love it. And that had free shipping, but was a much larger box. I don't quite understand. It makes me think it's an error on your side. I've never seen a shipping price that high in my life.
Yeah.
My guess would be that your system is seeing my address as a rural address. It happens quite a lot, but I'm not going to say that because that gives out where I am. Would really appreciate your help, as I'd really love to use these packing cubes for travel, but I can't get them anywhere else, which is true. You can't buy them anywhere else but the site.
Right.
Cheers. Thanks in advance. From Cam. Hey Frank, thanks for reaching out to us. I apologize for the inconvenience of this shipping fee. Unfortunately, we only offer express international shipping at the moment. We used to offer a slower, more economical international shipping method, but due to the high percentage of lost in transit shipments, we no longer offer that solution to ensure that our international customers receive their shipments. We are continuing to look for more economical international shipping methods to better serve our international customers. For the time being, these are the only shipping options that we offer. You may be able to find a great solution by working with a freight consolidator that specializes in consolidating shipments to your country from the US. Unfortunately, we do not offer these services at this time. If you find a great option, please let us know and we could love to investigate that shipping option further. Thanks for your support and concern, Cam. Cam, eat my left leg.
What? Like, but it still costs $100.
Yeah.
For express shipping.
And then.
Oh, there's more.
I was talking to a friend about it, and she goes, "Why don't you just put in my address and see what happens?" Because she lives like basically in the city.
Yeah.
She goes, "Why don't you put in my address?" Shipping is still $46.
What?
So the short drive from the city to my house is apparently worth $60 for shipping.
Right. Okay.
But still, $45 is stupid.
No.
Like it's tiny. My like max for shipping would be like 20, 25.
Yeah.
Max.
I wouldn't even pay that much for shipping.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like
$10.
I don't
$15.
understand. And I literally can't buy them anywhere else.
That's so
So-
stupid.
And they're the best packing cubes that I can find. All the other, like none of the other ones have the like compression zip. This one has the compression zip that goes all the way around. So
I wonder like who they're going, what freight people they're going with.
it's FedEx.
But why is that so expensive?
I don't know. It makes no sense.
Doesn't. Yeah.
So
I get
I don't understand. I love the bag. I do not love the shipping. So I'm not going to buy those travel
No,
cubes. If
that's
I can
insane.
find them on another site that I can buy them on, for normal amount shipping, then I will buy them and I will love them and I will cherish them. But until that day comes, I had them in my cart for like 3 days because I was like, I'm not paying $100 for shipping.
Yeah.
And they sent me a 10% discount code, and I was like, oh yeah, all right. Can I get free shipping?
You can keep your 10%. Just give me free shipping.
Yeah, I don't.
Or just
Anyway.
at least $10 for shipping.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's stupid.
Maybe FedEx just doesn't send a whole lot of stuff here.
I see FedEx trucks all the time.
I don't know them.
You see FedEx trucks all the time.
I do. I see them every now and then.
They're everywhere.
I see more FedEx trucks than Australia Post trucks.
It's because most Oz Post trucks are just white vans.
Oh.
Not many of them have the branding.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas FedEx is like FedEx. It'd be weird if we saw UPS.
They
They don't
they're
exist
not
here.
in Australia.
No.
Oh.
It's
We have something like that, but they're like a security thing.
Star Trek,
Yeah, probably.
which is so funny.
It has
I
a
love
very
that.
similar logo and everything. And it's like,
Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
do you want to talk about tonight?
sure. Tonight I got a message like 2 hours ago. I wonder if I have any updates. I do not. As kind of like a call out for a photographer for a gig.
Geek.
A gig.
Giggity.
Yeah, at a place that I've been before, and it's a nice little venue. And it's the 2 of the 3 acts I know. So that's how they.
Yeah.
I don't know who the 3rd act is.
Who's the second? That you
The
know.
person who texted me.
Oh, are they playing too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're playing first, and then someone, and then the main is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What's the second? What's the
I don't
one
know.
you don't know? Oh, he didn't say.
He hasn't yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go on then.
Um,
Sorry. Carry on. I'm just
and-
interested.
Yeah, so I had like a little freak out when he messaged me because I'm like, I'm not a photographer. I do more, well, obviously audio, but like a little bit of video stuff. I'm probably slightly better at video than audio. Than
Audio. Then
than
photography.
So I kind of said that. I was like, I mean, I'm keen, but ask this person, or this person because I'm not a fantastic photographer. Anyway, and then he got back to me a few hours later and was like, none of them are free. I was like, cool. Well, put me down as a backup, and you know,
And good luck.
just keep asking people, but like I'm free if no one else is. So he's been doing that anyway. I wanted to get some advice from you because you've done a couple. You've done at least one.
I've done one concert and I've done a couple events.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for it's a concert for 3 bands?
Yes.
How and do you know? I can say the venue because
Yeah.
it would have already happened. Black Bear Lodge.
I do know it. I haven't shot in Black Bear.
Okay, it's quite dark.
Also very small.
Yeah. Very
Um,
small stage, not a big audience area.
Yeah. I would talk to the bands because I'm just gonna say what I did. So what I did for the concert that I shot, mine was similar. Mine was also 3 bands.
Yeah.
And I only knew one of them. And so what I did was for the one that I knew, and they were the ones that asked me to be there. I asked them, "Do you mind if I come on stage
Yeah.
during your set to shoot?" Because that'll be the best location. And that was the best thing that I did because shooting from the audience is incredibly difficult.
It is?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because those angles are not particularly interesting.
Flattering.
Yeah, and it's just like you're just like looking
Looking
up
up.
at them. So it's not particularly flattering unless you have like a telephoto lens or something. It has its place.
Yeah.
Like definitely get a couple audience shots, but for the most part, I would try and shoot from the back of the crowd, get the crowd and
Yeah.
the band.
I have a few ideas for them.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be the biggest one is getting getting on stage access.
Okay.
Even if it's just side stage access will be better than nothing.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Before? Have you seen the size of the stage?
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah.
So,
When
Even if it's just that you can step up onto the platform
yeah.
and get up in their face. I assume you're going to use the 18 to 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I know it's very dark in there.
You'll need it. You'll need the 1.8.
Yeah. So I was going to, do you reckon I could get away with an F4 as well?
No.
Not at all?
Damn. Maybe, but the images will be super noisy.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot. If you want to do a 2-camera setup, you can take the ADD, my ADD.
I could. I don't have I don't have any other lens though. Oh, you mean with my...
Yeah, chuck the 24 to 105 and put the 18 to 35 on the other one.
I could do that actually.
It's not a bad idea.
Is your setup the same as mine?
Probably.
I'd say it's the same.
I don't think I've changed. The only thing I have is the back button focus, but I think you have that as well.
I have that, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
Okay, I might do that then. That might be easier than swapping lenses.
Yeah. And then you can see like whether F4 will work.
Yeah.
Well, it will. You'll just need to pump your ISO.
Which I don't... I always try and keep it as low as I can.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah.
But you might just have to. I think when I was doing the show, I might actually be able to see the metadata. Hold on. Because they're all in Google Photos, and Google Photos keeps track of the metadata.
Did you have your EOS R for that one?
No, I shot it on the ADD.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel a little better then. Because I was like, how am I meant to do this without a sensor that can pump ISO without getting noise?
Yeah, no. I did it on the ADD.
Because I was planning on taking the 50 mil
Oh.
as well.
Yeah, so I was pretty much sitting at 3200 for the whole show.
3200.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I never go past that. 3200.
Yeah, the whole show I was at 3200. And I just kept the shutter low, the aperture low. So the only reason I was at 3200 was because I wanted a higher shutter speed. Because my shutter speed sat around 1/400th of a second for most of the show.
Oh, that's pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, or 1/200th. So I just dropped it and brought it up whenever I needed.
I was going to say, I feel more... I would be comfortable going lower than... Well,
Yeah.
to about 200.
But it
sitting
also
around
depends on the
200.
act, because mine was like a hard rock act, which means they move a lot.
True.
So I really had to get that high shutter speed to capture it. Whereas you can probably get away with a slower one because most of it's quite chill.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but you'll probably be at 3200 or 6400 for ISO.
64.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
No?
Most of it you can fix with noise
Yeah,
reduction
noise.
in post.
Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking I'll probably give the 24 to 105 a try if I take your camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that doesn't work, then I can chuck the 50 mil on it, so at least I have something a bit longer.
Yeah.
Because that's 2.8.
Is it? No.
1.8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll be the same aperture.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah. So I shot that whole concert on the 50mm 1.8.
Damn. Okay.
So, worst comes to worst, that lens
So
is
I know
great.
that will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's
getting those wider shots, because I was pretty much, I couldn't go super wide, because the 50mm is basically a 76mm, I think, on the
yeah.
on the crop body.
Pretty much every time I put the 50 mil on my 80D, it's always way more zoomed in than I
Than you expect, yeah. So I would think that the 18 to 35 will get used a lot more, just because it'll be a lot more versatile.
Yeah.
Plus 35 is like 50mm on an 80D,
Yep.
so that'll look natural. Whereas the 50mm will be like,
Telephoto.
yeah. I had to be pretty far away when I was shooting on the 80D with the 50mm, and that's hard with concert stuff. You kind of want to get close,
Yeah.
because if you're far, there's way more stuff between you and the band,
Yeah.
and that's an issue,
Hmm.
which you don't want.
No.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's my advice.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No. Oh, I don't know. Just types of. I'm not too worried about types of shots. Like I have some ideas, and I know once I do the first band, then I'll have like a few angles that I know will work.
Yeah.
And the first band I know really well, so I'm not too worried if that like doesn't work too
Yeah.
well. But yeah, so the other thing is just my other concern was the light. But knowing that you shot on 1.8 on the 50 mil makes me a little more.
Yeah, you should be okay for light, but Blackberry's dark.
I know.
So, good luck. There's not much. Sorry. There's not much more you can do, unfortunately. It's just kind of deal with it.
Gotta go with it.
Yeah. That's kind of the extent of it, really. Is that you're just kind of gonna have to do it and hope that it's fine.
Hope that 1.8's enough.
Yeah, and even then, like, people don't really care about high noise.
No.
No, as long as the photo's good. I've seen like pro concert shots go up with like super high noise.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it's like no one cares. It just looks like grain.
Yeah.
And if it's way too noisy, like I think I have a couple in there that were way too noisy, to do in color, and then I just put them in black and white
No.
because then it looks intentional.
Yeah, that actually looks good.
Yeah. Whereas like, I think I denoised this too, but you can see it.
Yeah.
It's quite noisy.
It looks good though. I suppose for a rock band,
Yeah.
it looks good, whereas mine are much more pop.
Yeah.
So
Well, the other guys that I shot were a pop band, but like this is the same show. I can't really show these photos because I don't have their permission, but like this is the pop band.
okay, that looks good.
So it's just their lighting will be different, so you'll get different shots. This was a rap group, and then that's them. So their lighting was way different.
Yeah, that looks way darker.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite photos I've ever shot.
Yeah.
Even though only one of them is in the band still.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, one of them left last week as well.
As in the
That band.
wait, so the main guy's still there?
Yeah.
The guy that we know well.
Yeah.
And so everyone else has left.
From that one, yeah.
Oh.
From the ones that we met, the bass player is gone now.
Oh.
But there's a new guy, and apparently he's good. So
They
We'll
got
see.
a concert coming up?
they actually do, I think.
They need some photos and some videos.
No, because they're poor. But they probably will need new photos soon.
So we can do it for free.
No. Sorry.
No, we can do it for free, but we can do it for something.
We do it for cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Not that cheap.
That's my other thing is the amount that they pitched me for this show tonight is not a lot.
Not a lot of money.
So, I mean, like, I'd be happy to do it just because it gives me something to do, really.
Yeah.
But
Plus, concert photos look sick. It's always such like,
yeah,
it's always such a cool thing to do.
yeah,
I really like it. But yeah, it will be worth it to do. Absolutely.
yeah.
It just won't be profitable. No. Like you're
I
basically
will lose money on it probably.
Yeah, especially if you can't
If I go like travel, food.
work tomorrow because of it.
Yeah. I've already lost money from how much that is now.
Yeah.
About $20 from the get-go. It's fine. It's still, I'd prefer
fine.
to... Well, would I prefer to...
Whatever.
I don't know.
That's right. Even if you just negotiate an extra $20 for cover costs.
Yeah, I think I might mention that I'll have to take work off in the morning.
Yeah.
And be like, this is how much I would get paid for that. So can we just match that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I think so too.
I think that's fair. Anyway, moving right along. I showed you a clip before the show.
Oh, jeez. Forever scarred.
So I've started watching a new show. Well, not a new show, but it's super popular. It's a show called Invincible. It's really good so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But I showed Joe a clip from the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really interesting because one of the things that you said, it's like this. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's like the first time the show shows really graphic violence, and it's super intense. And Joe goes, "The sound effects," and I just wanted to ask what your thoughts were on the sound effects.
Oh, there was so like, there's just so much. My ears were overpowered by, like, fruit being squished.
It's just so squelchy.
It is the entire time, and like, there's shots of, well, I can say there's shots of like blood being splattered up against something, and then it like cuts to something different for a second, and then goes back to blood going somewhere else, and it's like the same sound. And it's just like, oh my goodness,
There's so much going on.
So yeah, and there was just like no break from it.
No, it's just 5 minutes of just.
Yeah, no talking.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's one particular bit that gets me, and there's two. Sorry, in this fight scene, he crushes one guy's head.
Yeah,
That sound effect just hits me to my core.
yeah.
There's just like. It's just like yucky. And then the other one is he like gets this. It's like a mace, but with no. It's just a big metal ball on a stick, basically, and he just like.
Oh yeah, no, that one was the worst.
Just whacks this dude, and it's like this giant. I won't say that,
No,
but
yeah.
it's this big character, and it just squishes his whole head.
And then parts come out, and then he rolls on the ground with parts out of him. So it's just like all this.
It's like if you
noise
took a
from his
kebab
head.
and went.
And then it rolled 5 meters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that sound effect got me because it's like the hit, the squelch, and then the.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really gross. The show's great though.
And with like that kind of animation, it has to be like, it's not as realistic.
Yeah.
The sound that you put to it isn't as realistic as like it could be.
Yeah, but it works really well.
Yeah. So there's less bones breaking sounds and more just
Squelch.
like people are made out of, nothing but
Jello.
soft flesh. No bones.
No bones. No bones.
Soft flesh and liquid. Yeah. Lovely.
Oh, speaking of bones. Segways. I was watching I've been watching a lot of like investigation, like crime, like real
You've been watching
documentary
Bones?
stuff. No,
Oh.
no, but like real documentary stuff. And I was watching a video about what's his name? Aaron something. The guy that got his hand stuck in the rock and had to cut his arm off.
Oh yeah.
That guy.
Isn't Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron something.
Oh, they said Aaron.
No, Aaron. Aaron
Yeah.
Rolst, I think.
I don't know his last name.
But yeah, I was watching this video that was like kind of. I've heard the story heaps, but I was watching this story of like cataloging the real event. And they showed the picture because the rescue team, after he came back, the rescue team had to go back to where he was and retrieve the arm from the rock.
Really?
Because you can't just leave it there because people are going to go and find it. And then that creates the potential for new danger and for more people to get stuck.
Wait, how much did he take off again?
It was like from there because his arm was pinned, so he had to break the bone and then
Right,
cut through.
and
So
then-
it would have been about the middle of his arm.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit left. Just thinking about it.
Just thinking about a hand stuck in a rock.
Yeah. I'll do a recap of the story for people that don't know. Basically, this guy was an adventurer and a rock climber and blah, 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 and was in this place that had a bunch of canyons, and he went out for a day hike and didn't tell anyone where he was going, which, dumb, don't do that. But he didn't tell anyone where he was going and when he'd be back, and he went out on his bike from where his van was parked, and then he went for a walk, and he slipped into a canyon when he stepped. So he was canyoning, so you're stepping between these very large crevices. He stood on a rock that was lodged between, like, within this canyon. So he was stepping on it to cross the canyon. As he stepped on it, the rock dislodged. He fell about 2 feet, so not far. But as he fell, the rock tumbled and caught his arm and pinned it against the wall from about the center of his forearm up. So he was pinned there, and he was stuck there for 127 hours, so like 4 days and a bit. And so he was only planning to be gone for a couple hours, so all he had with him was food for a couple hours plus one.
Yeah,
He had
a snack and
he had, I think it was like 2 burritos, a
that's
candy
not a snack.
bar, and a bottle of water. Like, that's all that he had.
Right.
Anyway, basically, he spent a day trying to get his arm out, a day panicking, a day coming to terms with the fact that he was going to have to cut his arm off, and realizing that no one was going to come and save him because he was dumb and didn't tell anyone where he was going. And then on the 4th day, he had to... Well, he tried to cut his arm off on the 2nd day.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you. And then on the 4th day, he realized that he was going to have to break his arm to get through and then, like, stab it a bunch and then just, like, pull.
Oh, this is making me like lightheaded.
Yeah, it's really gross. But basically, break, stab, pull. Anyway, he survived, he made it, thankfully, and then is now an advocate for not doing dumb stuff, like not telling people where you're going and when you'll be back.
Yeah.
Anyway, they made a movie, blah, blah, blah. Super interesting story. But what I was saying was they had to send a rescue team back to go retrieve the arm because his story became so popular, like basically overnight, because it's crazy.
Yeah.
They had
Did
to go
people
and
just go and see the arm?
Well, no, because they retrieved it the next day.
Oh, okay.
Because news broke that night. They saw how big the story got immediately. And then they were like, we need to go retrieve this because if people go and try and find it, they're going to like take little bits of the arm and like people are going to get stuck again and we're going to have to send more rescue stuff out. Like it's just going to be a whole thing. So they ended up retrieving the arm. Anyway, they showed a picture of the arm stuck in the rock and I was like, It's a whole thing. But what I was trying to get to was they showed the scene from the movie where he cut his arm. And the sound effects from that scene are so gross because it's like you just have to show everything and hear everything. And it's just like the crack and the yucky.
And then so does he? I haven't actually seen the movie.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it.
And then he just like
Yeah, so he like cuts as much through as he can, and he's like pulling the whole time. So he's like cutting and pulling. So it's like when you have a piece of fabric and you're like pulling through it at the same time as you're ripping it. It's like that, and then he like pulls, and then he pops out and hits the back of the canyon wall, and is just like looking at his arm.
I need to go.
Yeah, he's like, I need to go home. But yeah, absolutely crazy story. But yeah, that reminded me of that, the difference between like realistic sound effects, where it's like,
Oh yeah,
that's what it actually would have sounded like, because that definitely didn't sound like.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
That sounded like someone breaking their arm and then cutting through it with a dull pocket knife.
yeah. Okay. Ugh.
Ew. Anyway, moving right along.
That's terrible.
I watched the first episode of the Loki show last night.
Oh yeah, I forgot that came out.
It's really good.
It is.
Like, obviously it's going to be good. But it's probably my favorite Marvel show so far.
Oh.
Just from the first episode. It's trippy, it's weird,
Yeah.
it's funny, like genuinely funny. And it basically, like, the first episode essentially covers, because this is Loki, but Loki from the 2012 Avengers movie. Because this is like, in Avengers Endgame, they go back, they drop the Tesseract, Loki picks it up and just goes, whoop,
Yeah.
and disappears. This is a continuation of that. So basically, this is the Loki that hasn't gone through the like 9 years of character development up to when he died.
Right.
So he basically has to go through all of that character development in one episode, and it's done really, really well.
Really?
Yeah, because like at the end of the episode, he's not fully there, but he's like much closer than he was at the start. Because at the start he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the ruler of the earth."
Right.
Then at the end of the episode, he's like, "Okay, I'll help, I guess." And they do that by like basically the general premise of the show is that by Loki picking up the Tesseract, he's now created an alternate timeline that diverts from the path of the true timeline. And so these like time police called the Time Variant Authority, the TVA, pick him up and they take him back. And he goes through this really long scene of like being judged and sentenced and like stuff. Anyway, they end up taking him out and going, "Hey, we need your help to help stop this like crazy dude who's running through time and killing people."
Yeah.
Anyway, they go into like this interrogation room, and the way they do all of this character development is the agent that's taken him shows him, because this is like a separate dimension basically where they can see all of time. He shows him his entire life up until his death, essentially.
Right.
And like gives it to him in pieces, and then Loki tries to escape halfway through and then comes back and sees the end of his life and like how it all played out. So it's super, super interesting.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes to terms with the fact that like he can't go back because his timeline technically isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And there is no place for him to return to. So he's like, either he just gets evaporated
Yeah.
and is just doesn't exist anymore, or he helps them.
Right.
It's really, really
That is
well done.
That is a clever way to get all that character development in.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's like the actual last bit of his character development is self-driven. So he goes back to the room and like figures out that he dies and stuff.
Right.
And Tom Hiddleston is such a good actor.
Yeah.
That it's just like you just can see it in his face that it's changed. It's really, really cool.
That's cool.
And it has super cool visual effects and just super cool set design and sound, and like it's so cool.
Yeah.
And there's like a sequence right at the start where it basically covers all of the information about what the TVA is in a really cool way, because like Loki doesn't know what it is either.
Yeah.
And so he's like in this waiting room, and he's just standing there, and he's like standing there and he's like, "You've made a mistake. Like I shouldn't be here." And then this TV like goes, like, you know, when you're in a waiting room and they have like the TVs along the wall, like on the roof, where it's like, yeah, anyway, it's like that. And it's like, I bet you're saying this is a mistake. You have the wrong person. And then it goes like into the TV, and it's like this 70s, 60s like Jetson style animation cartoon, but it's like them explaining to Loki, but really to the audience, like why they're here, what the TVA is, like all this information
Yeah.
in like a 2-minute little thing, and then you just like, oh, okay,
Huh.
that makes sense, I guess. So it's really cool and
Yeah.
really well done, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So great first episode, and there's a really cool twist at the end that I would have expected to be the like full season twist, like right at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
But they reveal it right at the end of the first episode, which makes me super excited to see what the big twist is.
Yeah.
Because if they're revealing, I'm obviously not going to say what it is, but if they're revealing what that is right at the end of the first episode, it's like they clearly have so much more in store.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I'm keen. I need to watch this.
And one of my favorite, there's like a bunch of throwaway jokes, but one of my favorite things is, do you know the story of DB Cooper?
No.
Okay, so there's this guy, this actually happened, this is a true story. This guy, DB Cooper, this is the name that he used, no one knows if that's his real name. It's probably not, but he got on a plane, was wearing a black and white suit, what you'd expect with a tie, sunglasses the whole time, had a briefcase with him. He got on the plane, and this is in the US, got on the plane, he gets halfway through the flight, writes on a napkin. The flight attendant comes up, gives him a drink, and he goes, like, gives her the napkin, and the flight attendant thinks that it's his number. And the guy says, "Oh, you might want to open that."
Yeah.
And she opens it, and it says, "I have a bomb." On the thing.
I have it.
Yeah, and he like taps the briefcase and is like, "I have a bomb."
Yeah.
Anyway, they end up negotiating, and his demands are that they land at the nearest airport. He's brought, I think, like a couple million in cash in a duffel bag, and they give him the duffel bag. Oh, the duffel bag and a parachute. Those were the two things.
Right.
The duffel bag and the parachute, and then they take off again. Somewhere across the US, he jumps out of the plane with the duffel bag and the parachute, and no one has ever seen him again. No one knows where he went. It is an unsolved cold case.
Wow.
No one has a clue.
That's insane.
And then in the show, they're like talking about how Loki is the god of mischief.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's have a look at some of your like greatest hits, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's like revealed that DB Cooper was Loki the whole time. And when he jumps out of the plane, he just calls Heimdall and gets him to like zoof him back to Asgard in midair and just leaves all the money behind. And he's like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "I lost a bet to Thor." Like just like stuff like that, where it's like this whole elaborate set piece. And that was like in the trailer, they made it out to be like this big thing in the story that he was going to have to be DB Cooper, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's just a throwaway like 2-minute joke.
That is funny.
Super, super well done.
Yeah.
Great show, and I'm so excited for the next episode.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
I'm keen. I need to watch it.
Yes, you definitely do. That's it for me. I'm done. That's all I got.
Wow. I mean, I don't think I have anything else.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode of The Froe Show. Social media, go.
Instagram at Froe Media and Twitter at the Froe Media.
Hell yeah. If you want to give us money, go to patreon.com/The Froe Show.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.